Hello everybody, it is Calxiyn here, and before we get started today, let me say my thanks to my patrons over on Patreon. Academy Professor Edwin, Huntsman Ash Carlton, Huntsman in Training Emmy Cat, New Recruits Solly, Rooter, Rage Factor 13, Flashy, Wade, Jess, and finally $100 Patreon Alex Wise. Okay, so today Hunter is playing, by the way. Today we are talking about a theory on Tumblr made by Hawk-Eyed Flame. Their theory is that Raven muted Neo, and you may be thinking, what? So we're gonna tell you. So their last name is pronounced Branwen, right?
Yes.
Okay. So this is their post. There's some words here I can't pronounce. I'll be honest. And yeah. So we'll just.
Well, I can't play this game well. You can't read. You know.
It's all good. It's all good. I was just thinking about Raven's last name and wondered if it will play a role in the story. I looked it up and it came up with a Wikipedia page for a little girl named Branwen, daughter of Lear, from the mag. Oh boy. Do you wanna? What does that say?
Mab in Ogon?
Mab Ogon. This is all in like, you know, not English. The story opens with Branwen's brother, Bran the Blessed. I guess he's the best if he's blessed. King of Britain, sitting on a rock by the sea. I'm sure these locations aren't important, so I'm gonna keep going. And seeing the vessels of Mathawich, King of Ireland, approaching. We'll just call him Matthew. Matthew has come to ask the hand of Bran the Blessed, Branwen. Try saying that all in one sentence. In marriage, and so they agree and whatever. Everything's going on great. But the half brother's like, no. Upon being told, this is the half brother guy who looks like Eamstein. Alright, so Eamstein comes and he's like, again, I'm not reading directly from the post if you couldn't tell, I'm paraphrasing. So upon being told, he is furious that his half-sister has been given in marriage without his consent and mutilates the horses. Oh dear. He mutilates the horses. And so Matthew, like, gets mad, but someone, Bran the Blessed, gives him a magical conduit which can bring the dead back to life. He does not know that when the dead are brought back, they will be mute. Okay, so there's a lot of things going on here. There's marriages, and okay, so basically, you have Britain and you have Ireland. Ireland wanted to marry Britain's daughter, and they were like, or sister or whatever, and they were like, okay. But then the half-sister of the girl that got married was like, no, and mutilated the horses. And then to be like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. The King of Britain basically gave them a cauldron that brings back the dead. So this is where things kind of, obviously, I think we can already see where this is going. Branwen's brother's Welsh name is, I can't pronounce that, which translates to the Blessed Crow. I think most people are interested in the lore behind the names. Yeah, they're already inspired by birds, we know. But we know that the characters' namesakes, or inspiring stories can play a role in their fate, like for Pyrrha. That is what the poster is saying. So back to Branwen, I'd like to highlight something that caught my eye on the Wikipedia page. Consolated by it's the brothers, like, guy again. Anyway, who gives him the magic cauldron which can bring the dead back to life. He does not know that when the dead are brought back, they are mute. Now, don't we know an adorable little mute? That's what the poster said. I'm not saying that Raven has something to do with Neo's muteness, but Raven totally has something to do with Neo's muteness. Oh my god, can I not talk today? Am I okay? What's wrong with me? Neo's muteness.
You can't talk, and yet I'm doing okay in boobies.
Oh my god. Perhaps she killed Neo, and then someone somehow brought her back to life. Sure would explain the hell out of...
I said that before I died.
Sure would explain the hell out of why they made a point of showing us how terrified Neo was of Raven. So terrified that her eyes literally went white and stayed that way for the rest of the scene. This scene, even without the context of the namesake lore, was intended to show us that there's some sort of history between Raven and Neo. Neo clearly knows who Raven is and is very, very afraid of her. You know who else is struggling with speech? And then they show a picture of Cinder. Also, I am struggling with speech. I mean, realistically, I can see Cinder losing an eye to the silver eyes, even though her missing eye is the one that's actually shielded by her hair and her uncovered eye is fine. But who's keeping track? When she would, but why would she lose her voice? I'm wondering if RWBY actually killed Cinder and Salem brought her back to life. Maybe the maiden power somehow protected her from total speech loss, or maybe Neo could have the chance to speak too with enough therapy. Far-fetched, debatable. Considering how detail-oriented and meticulous Monty was with his character names, fun to ponder, absolutely. Okay, so that's the entire theory. It's basically that lore kind of says that there is a magical cauldron that can bring people back from the dead. And so I have some problems with this theory, but what do you think first before I kind of...
Well, I mean, isn't Neo getting a voice actress though?
She has a voice actress, but she's just grunted so far and like gasped and stuff. She's
gonna talk then. The second she talks, then every any
she might not though,
this.
because people know that that's why Neo's kind of they know why that's kind of why Neo's attractive. I think her voice actress will just do grunts for her if anything. Which has to be the most boring job ever.
Yeah, just exertions, but...
My problem is that, so, over here we got Britain and Ireland. Who are they supposed to be, though? Or, because that's my problem with this theory is that it's not Raven who has the cauldron, or it doesn't seem like it's...
Oh my god!
Are you okay?
No, I'm not! I suck! What is going on?
My problem is that this is all kind of weird in the sense that who has the cauldron then? Because I don't think there's actually a cauldron involved. I think they're just saying, oh, they loosely had it so Salem can bring people back to life, and I don't really like that. Like, I would like if there's another character that can do that, you know what I'm trying to say? Because, again, in the lore it says who gives them a magic cauldron, blah, 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 blah. When they bring back the dead, they can't speak. But, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, it doesn't relate to Salem then, you know what I'm trying to tell you? Like, it would have to be, in my head anyway, it would have to be new characters, or it would have to be, like, I don't know. You can use your ultimate, maybe that's what's wrong with you. Good job. But you know what I'm saying, Hunter?
Yeah, I know, I mean, I know what you're saying, I just don't think that. I mean, it's interesting because I'd never really considered maybe the backstory, because you're right, he was very meticulous about the names of the characters.
Yeah.
And
the other problem I have is that Neo was just kind of a week before the episode aired thing that he invented, right?
Yeah.
Like, and so he could have developed that lore with Raven after, but Raven wouldn't have had it naturally in her backstory. Like, Neo would have to be set there. Does that make... No! No! You gotta do that. No! Keep going! Yes, click that, please. Hunter! Okay. Anyway, so...
I like it.
Yeah. Like, we know that Raven and Crow are bird references, but it's just... Like, I don't know. It's just weird with the cauldron stuff. That's what I don't... Because I guess she's a witch, right? Salem, but still, like, I don't like, there's just a connection missing here, because unless there's someone else in Raven's lore, and why did Raven kill Neo too? Like, I guess she could have just done it, but why would somebody bring Neo back? Like, why would Salem bring Neo back? Because they're saying that Salem did it, right? Like, why is Salem important to Neo? Because
why is Neo important to Salem? I mean,
yeah.
She's tasty in a fight. That's helpful.
She's tasty? Is that what you just said?
In a fight.
Okay. I don't know. I like the idea, but the idea needs to have more of a... It needs to have more concept behind it. You know what I mean? Like, there needs to be more connection about how Salem is implicated in this. Because right now we have two random kings, right? And we know that Vale was under a monarchy, so it would be more interesting, maybe, if the two kings that we're talking about, one was Mistral, and then maybe the other was Atlas, right? Because Mistral and Atlas worked together. And so somehow they were the ones that were sort of affiliated, somehow, even if they end up doing maybe 2 different tribes, right? Because right now in the story we have 2 different countries, like Britain and Ireland, obviously, but instead maybe it could be 2 different tribes. They tried to get Raven married off to Ty. Crow wasn't happy about that. He mutilated the horse. You know what I mean? Like, even then though, then where did Raven, why does Salem have a cauldron? You know what I mean? Like, just... Unless, again, we go back out of modern day, this has nothing to actually do with Raven, and then say that maybe one of the relics, because one of the relics is destruction and creation, right?
News to me?
I think.
Question?
I don't remember. Here's kind of what I'm thinking to make this theory better, is that have the 2 kings, so Mistral, the same story, right? And then, instead of... maybe the brother, the random brother being mad, because who gives a shit about him? Instead, it could be that Salem was upset for some reason. That also kind of works because, like, if it turns out maybe it's Mistral and Vale, right? The reason why in the Wicked books is, like, Elphaba was so, like... Not in the Wicked books, in the Wizard of Oz, why Elphaba was so angry all the time, like why she was going after Glinda, is because the wizard picked Glinda and kind of, you know, pushed her aside, sort of, you know what I mean? And so, this is kind of what I'm thinking. So Vale and Vacuo, or Vale and Mistral, right, they marry off their daughters, because this is obviously a monarchy situation, right? And then Salem comes here and she's like, hey, like, what are you doing, Ozpin? Because we know that Ozpin may or may have not possessed the King of Vale. So maybe it's the son. Or maybe Salem's gay. That's okay, too. But in my head, it would be like Salem would, because she's probably lived for a long, long time. Maybe in her early years was after Ozpin's the king's daughter or whatever, or son or whatever. And she was like, hey, why are you, what you doing? And then Ozpin was like, listen, okay, like, calm down. We don't fight for another, like, 300 years, okay? I know you love my son, but here's the power to, like, bring people back from the dead. There you go. I don't even know if that's an improvement, to be honest. Like, I'm just trying to fix this theory when it's almost half-baked. Like, if it wasn't Salem that had the power to regenerate, this theory could probably be better, because then we could have it so it's within the tribe, and it involves Raven and Crow directly. Like, Crow is the one that got kind of pissed, right, and mutilated somebody's horse, right, if we're still gonna go with that. And so someone else, tribal-wise, may have the power to bring them back from the dead, and then they did that because, I don't know, Neo maybe was a part of their tribe, and Raven was like, how about we don't do that? You know, and killed her or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, that could be better. I don't want Salem to be able to bring people back from the dead, right?
That would be unfortunate for Team RWBY.
Yeah, and so, I don't know.
Although, can you say zombie Pura? Because I can say zombie Pura.
But, yeah, that's the thing, is that that's the main problem I have with this theory, is that they drag Salem into it. Like, Salem didn't need to be dragged into it, right? It could have been a bandits thing. It could have been maybe the relic that is in Mistral is creation, right? Or whatever. Or maybe, and so maybe that could have brought Neo back, if anything, right? If anything ever brought Neo back, right? But... I mean, I guess maybe the trauma of death would still make her mute, though, instead of some magical bullshit. Oh, sorry, the relic can bring you back, but you can't tell anybody, so we're gonna make it so you can't talk. You know what I mean? Like, I like the thought and the effort that went into this, but I can't even salvage it. You know what I mean? Like, I can't make it work within the story. I don't know. Like, you know what I mean, Hunter? It's just, again, I like the idea. I like where it's going. I think that Raven and Neo have some kind of history, but I don't know if it's that. And I don't know if Neo's dead and she was brought back to life. You know? But I like the effort, okay? You did a good job. It's just dragging so many characters from different storylines. Like, Salem did not need to be inserted in there because this is a Branwen thing, so it would be within the Branwen family. Right? That Raven would have killed Neo, and then someone against that tribe would have brought her back with the magical horse mutilated cauldron or whatever is going on. But yeah, it's hard. It's hard. Alright, so, yeah, it's one of those theories I didn't connect to just because it's too all over the place. Would you agree?
A little bit, although
It
it
seems weird just dragging
I do like
Salem
what
in.
they have to say about their names and like exploring the history, I think.
Well, I think
or
that...
maybe the possible inspiration for Crow and Raven.
Well, I think we'll talk about this in a separate video, but a lot of people think they're based off Norse mythology, like Odin and the eyes and all that, right? I don't know if you guys know, if you know anything about that, Hunter.
I don't.
It's, I don't know. The gods had 2 birds, and the birds were, like, future people, but we'll do that theory in another video. It's just, like, I don't think that this is necessarily their main inspiration. If anything, it's, like, maybe their second, because this is Welsh, right? And so we're kind of in a different continent. Not a continent. I guess we're just in a different country. Since, I don't know. Where's Norse from?
Scandinavia?
Yeah, Scandinavia is still on the continent. Just different country. Very far away from each other. That's all I'm saying.
Not actually that far away, even within the continent.
It's a little bit far. But you guys know what I'm saying, right? Like, it's not... There could be more than one inspiration for them, but I think that the Odin thing is kind of the more accepted one. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all that we have to say about this one. This was a weird one. I was like, ooh, we should do this. And then I read it.
Wait, we still have one enemy. Where is it?
It's right behind you.
Huh? Oh, there it is.
Oh. Anyways, yeah, this was fun, guys. This was just a fun little, like, oh, Neo, bringing back from the dead. See, I like that, but I want these things to be separate. You know, I like the idea of Salem bringing Neo back, but without all the stuff involving Raven. Like, let's make these things 2 separate identities, you know what I mean? Like, let's make Raven having a beef with Neo one side, and let's have Neo coming back to life on the other side, you know? Let's not have these stories connected, let's just say that they happened, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's kind of an improvement. There's too much going on in this theory. But yeah, guys, I like this one. It was a sort of a clickbait title, because I was like, ooh, was Neo dead? Like, Neo brought back from the dead, you know what I mean? We'll probably do more theories about Neo, and if you guys are interested, if you become a Patreon, you can actually kind of see the list of theories that we want to do, so you should do that. Anyway, that kind of leads us into our outro here. Thank you to my patrons over on Patreon: Academy Professor Edwin, Huntsman Ash Carlton, Huntsman in Training Emmy Cat, New Recruit Sully, Rooter, Rage Factor 13, Flashy, Wade, Jess, and $100 patron.
God damn it!
Alex Wise. Gosh darn it. Anyway, hopefully, I think you've been getting better though, so hopefully Hunter does well. Also, we're gonna do more RWBY what ifs. I think on weeks that we won't have theory, we'll do a what if, and then whatever else we'll do. You know what I mean? And so, what else do we do? Our hopes and whoa, you got over the fence.
I did.
Yeah, that's not good. You shouldn't do that. You might fall.
That's boundary. I tried to fall.
You might hurt yourself.
Look at that wonderful horizon.
Anyway, we have plans.
Imagine if you looked out here and you just saw like the red, like Raven or something. It'd be fucked up.
Like as an Easter egg, or just like in general?
They should have put more Easter eggs in this.
And
RWBY has some very defined, like, shoulder muscles.
Hunter, can I do the rest of the outro? You're always bugging me to do the rest of the outro. Can I finish?
I mean, do you, man.
Okay, anyways, so we have a lot of stuff going on. If you guys may have noticed, the video schedule has changed. Shipping is now on Sunday. This is Wednesdays, and Friday will be whatever else. Oh, the fuck. So, you know, it's great. Anyway, that was done to accommodate Hunter.
Ow.
And,
you little shit, that hurt.
I know. So anyway, we'll see you later, guys. Bye!